الإسلام نظام شامل لجميع شؤون الحياة وسلوك الإنسان. فالمسلم لا يجوز له نهائيا أن يسمي لغير الإسلام أن ينظم ولو جانبا واحدا من جوانب حياته. يقول الله تعالى: أفتؤمنون ببعض الكتاب وتكفرون ببعض فما جزاء من يفعل ذلك منكم إلا خزي في الحياة الدنيا ويوم القيامة يردون إلى أشد العذاب وما الله بغافل عما تعملون. لأن المسلم يجب عليه أن يسلم كيانه كله لله تعالى ويسلم جميع أموره لخالقه. يقول الله تعالى: قل إن صلاتي ونسكي ومحياي ومماتي لله رب العالمين لا شريك له وبذلك أمرت وأنا أول المسلمين. والمسلم يمكنه أن يجعل كل حياته لله تعالى حتى الأمور الدنيوية البحتة من طعام وشراب وملبس ولعب ومزاج وعمل وزواج وما يلحق به من تعلم وغيره من أمور الحياة، بأن يحول العادات إلى عبادة بابتغاء وجه الله تعالى في كل أمل على أن يكون هذا الأمل مشروعا، فهو يأكل بنية التقوى على عبادة الله ويلعب بنية الترويح المشروع النفسي ويتزوج بنية تكوين ذرية الصالحة تعبد الله من بعده ويعمل بل يجتهد ويكد في الأمل بنية تقدم ورقي أمته وبناء وطنه ويتعلم ويعلم الناس ويفكرهم بنية أن يعبدوا الله على بصيرة فينجو من عذاب الله يوم القيامة ويتصدق وينفق قربا إلى الله تعالى ويلتزم بحسن الأخلاق وجميلها ويبتعد عن المذموم منها بنية الاقتداء بسيد البشرية محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. وهو إذا نظر في أي جانب من جوانب حياته يجد الإسلام قد نظم له هذا الجانب بما يتلائم مع الشرع الحكيم. فها هو أحد النصارى يتعجب قائلا لسلمان الفارسي رضي الله عنه: عجبت من نبيكم هذا يعلمكم كل شيء حتى الهراء كما يعلمكم الآية من القرآن. وهذا إن دل على شيء فإنما يدل على شمولية الإسلام التي تتناول جميع حياة المسلم. يقول الله تعالى: ما فرطنا في الكتاب من شيء. سبحان الله العظيم، 14 أدبا في قضاء الحاجة وكلها ثابتة في سنة صحيحة. فإذا كان الأمر كذلك فما بالنا بعظائم الأمور من جهاد في سبيل الله وأمر بالمعروف والنهي عن المنكر وغيره. إن الإسلام في الجانب الاقتصادي نظم التكافل الاجتماعي والزكاة والصدقات وشتى وسائل ومصارف الإنفاق في سبيل الله. وحذر الإسلام ومنع التمليك بالطريق غير المشروع كالربا وغيره، ومنع أيضا الاكتناز ونظم طريق الربا وتعامل المشروع المسلم بعيدا عن أي شبهة حرام. وفي نظام الأسرة بين الإسلام الأساس التي تحتاج بها المرأة زوجة وهي المال والجمال والحسب والدين. ومن يسفر بذات الدين يكون قد ربح، لأن الدين يبقى وينتقم منه المؤمن بالعمل الصالح في الآخرة. أما الأمور الأخرى فتفنى، بل إن الدنيا كلها ستفنى. وبين الإسلام كيف يفرح المسلم بزواجه من لهو مباح وغيره بعيدا عن الصحب ولهو الحديث وبعيدا عن المظاهر الخليئة، وحتى لا يظلم الرجل زوجته ولا تكسر المرأة تجاه زوجها. بين الإسلام حقوق كل منهما تجاه الأخرى، ولكي يخرج النشء المسلم ذات تربية عالية وأخلاق رفيعة ورجولة. وضع الإسلام وسائل التربية الإسلامية التي يجب اتباعها من النشء من حين اتيان الولود إلى الحياة، ثم كيفية تربيته إلى أن يبلغ أشده برعاية والنصيحة. وفي مجال الحكم والسياسة أوضع الإسلام أساس الحكم والسياسة وما هي واجبة الدولة مجاورة، وأن أهم الأوامر في الحكم والسياسة هي العدل والمساومة والشورى. والله وحده هو الذي له حق التشريع وحق تنظيم أمور عباده، لأنه الخالق. قال تعالى: ألا يعلم من خلق وهو اللطيف الخبير. وبين الإسلام أن التعصب الطبقة أو اللون أو القومية وغيرها ليس من صفات المسلم، فالمعيار الذي يميز الله به بين العباد هو التقوى. قال تعالى: إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم إن الله عليم خبير. ويقول الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم: دعوها فإنها منتنة. وبالجملة أقول إن الإسلام وحده هو الذي يصلح أن ينظم العلاقات بين الأفراد بعضهم بعضا، وبين الأفراد وحكومتها وحكومتهم، وبين الحكومات والحكومات الأخرى، وبين الدولة والدولة الأخرى. فلا يوجد دين غير الإسلام صالح لتطبيقه على بني البشر، بل إن الله سبحانه وتعالى لا يقبل غيره. قال الله تعالى: ومن يبتغي غير الإسلام دينا فلا يقبل منه وهو في الآخرة من الخاسرين. والله جل وعلا قد أكمل الدين وأتم الرسالات وأتم بمحمد صلى الله عليه وسلم الأنبياء. قال الله تعالى: اليوم أكملت لكم دينكم وأتممت عليكم نعمتي ورضيت لكم الإسلام دينا. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه. We thank Allah Azza wa Jalla for making it possible for us to witness today Yawm al-Jum'ah. We ask Allah Azza wa Jalla may He make today a blessed day for us. Today's khutbah centers on Al-Islam huwa al-Hayat. Islam is life. Today, unfortunately, we found Muslims who are misplacing or prioritizing the culture, the way of life other than Islam over Islam. And they have taken other culture other than Islamic culture, either their tribal culture or the culture of their own people over Islam. And that is what we are hoping to rectify, inshallah, in this khutbah. Islam is a deen, is a system that comprises every part of our life. Islam is a system that has dealt with all parts of our life and also our behavior. It is not permissible for any Muslim to permit any other way of life, any other system to dictate for him how to live his life. Even if it is an aspect of his life, it must be dictated by Islam. Allah Azza wa Jalla, He mentioned in the Quran, أَفَتُؤْمِنُونَ بِبَعْضِ الْكِتَابِ, are you believing in some part of the book? وَتَكْفُرُونَ بِبَعْضِ, and you disbelieve in some other part? And what is the reward of those who does that from amongst you, except humiliation in the life of this dunya and also on the day of Qiyamah? يُرَدُّونَ إِلَى أَشَدِّ الْعَذَابِ. Allah will return him on the day of Qiyamah to the worst of punishment, to a severe punishment. And Allah Azza wa Jalla, He is not unmindful of what you do. That is because a Muslim, it is upon him to surrender. It is upon him to surrender his own existence, his whole existence, and all of his affairs to Allah Azza wa Jalla, to submit all of his own self to his Creator. Allah Azza wa Jalla mentioned, قُلْ إِنَّ صَلَاتِي وَنُسُكِي وَمَحْيَايَ وَمَمَاتِي لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. That verily my salah, my prayer, my sacrifices, my living, and also my dying is for Allah, the Lord of the universe. There is no partners to Him, and it is for this that I have been commanded, and I am the first of those who submit. So it is upon us to submit all of our whole self to Allah without declining to any other way of life except Islam, without declining to other culture that goes against Islam. A Muslim يمكنه أن يجعل كل حياته لله. A Muslim should give all of his life to Allah Azza wa Jalla, especially even all of his worldly life, in the way he eats, in the manner he eats, and also the manner he drinks, what he drinks. He takes all of this to the way of Islam. In the manner he dresses, he takes all of this to the way of Islam. Even in his play, in his Eid. We are in December. Very soon we will begin to hear Muslims saying, can we celebrate Christmas? Can we celebrate New Year? Even in your celebration, you have to take the culture from Islam. Because the one that Allah has given to you, it is sufficient for you. Even in your joking, you have to make sure that you confine your joke to the what? To the instruction of Islam. And even in your work, your daily work, your office, you must make sure that it complies to Islam. Even in marriages, you must make sure that when you want to marry, look into the culture of Islam. How does Islam want us to marry? Then look at that. Don't go and bring any culture that goes against Islam. In many parts of the society, they have their different culture, and some of this culture, they go against the dictate of Islam. We must do away with them in order to align and harmonize with Allah Azza wa Jalla. And even in our learning of this dunya, we must make sure that we stay in line with Islam, so that all of our custom, all of our culture, all what we do as far as tradition is concerned will now come to ibadat, seeking the face of Allah Azza wa Jalla in every work that we do. As long as you do that with the intention of fight, it will be considered as worship to Allah Azza wa Jalla. If you play with the intention that you want to relieve yourself from stress, and it should not be a permissible play, then it will be counted for you as ibadah. If you marry with the intention that you want to raise righteous and pious children that will be worshiping Allah after you, it will be counted for you as ibadah. And if you are raising children in order to promote and advance Islam, and also to build the Islamic society, all of this will be counted for you as ibadah. If you are teaching people, or you are learning, or you are making people to understand the religion with the intention of worshiping Allah Azza wa Jalla upon basira, all of this will be rewarded by Allah Azza wa Jalla. And if you doing this in order to save yourself from the punishment of Allah on the day of Qiyamah, and you give out sadaqah, you spend all to get close to Allah Azza wa Jalla, all of this will be counted for you on the day of Qiyamah. And if you run away from all kinds of evil in the society in order to follow the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the master of the whole universe, then all of this will be counted for you as an act of ibadah. So there is no part of our life that you are going to look at except the fact that Allah Azza wa Jalla has already formed it for us in complete way in which we should live our life. One of the Christians during the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said to one of the companions, Salman al-Farisi, he said that I am so amazed about your prophet. Your prophet taught you everything. Your prophet teaches you everything, even how to defecate in the toilet. Your prophet teaches you everything just the same way he teaches you the Quran. Of course, that is Islam. Islam teaches us everything, hatta even how we should use the toilet. Islam did not leave anything of that. And what this indicates is the comprehensiveness of Islam. Islam is a culture on its own. You don't need any other culture aside the culture of Islam. Because whatever you need to do as far as Islam is concerned, Islam has already prepared it for you. Today people are celebrating masquerade. They put on clothing and they do a lot of things, even shirk inside. And they say when you ask them, they are still bearing Muhammad, they are still bearing Abdullah. When you ask them, they will say this is a culture. They will say this is a culture. If this is a culture, it is alien to the culture of Islam. And a good Muslim must stay away from such kind of culture, even though you will be called names. Because there is nothing except that Islam has already prepared it for us. Allah said in the Quran, "Ma faratna fil kitabi min shay." He said He has not left anything in the Quran, in the Sharia. He has not left anything except that Allah has written it. Only to defecate in the toilet, to use the toilet, Islam has given us up to 14 ways, up to 14 etiquettes that you should observe when you want to toilet. Which other ways of life will tell you how to toilet? Which other deen, aside the deen of Islam, that will teach you how to use the toilet? Aside Islam, everybody uses the toilet any way they like, except those who have been influenced by the culture of Islam. So if this is the case of toilets, how then do we now talk about great matters of this religion, like jihad, fi sabilillah, commanding the good and forbidding the evil, and every other matters? In terms of economic system, Islam has also regulated it so well. That is why in Islamic system, in Islamic culture, we have what we call zakat, we have what we call sadaqat, and every other means in which we should spend our wealth in the path of Allah. And Islam has also warned and prohibited acquiring wealth in ways that are not legislated. For example, riba, usury, interest, and others. And also it has prohibited what? Iktinas, when you hoard wealth. As we are seeing today among our rich men, where they hoard wealth, they keep it and hide it at the detriment of the masses. And Islam has already regulated how we should work, how we should gain profit. All of this we have already been taught in the Quran. Islam has also regulated our family settings for us. He has even taught us on how we should choose our wife. He has told us what we should look into when we want to work, when we want to select our wives and our husband. And he told us to select a religion. Because when you do that, you will gain in this dunya as well as the akhirah. Because if you go to any other one aside the one that has the deen, all of those can vanish. Even the dunya will vanish. And how the women, the husband and wife should relate, Islam has talked about everything. Mention one culture in any society that has a well-documented way of life as far as husband and wife should behave to each other, except Islam. So why then do we now leave that Islam and we will now say we have another culture that we want to go and follow aside Islam? We ask Allah Azza wa Jalla, may He grant us the guidance of our Islam. Unfortunately today, you see Muslims, when you tell them this is Islam, they will tell you, no, this is our own culture. Even though their culture is going against that of Islam. May Allah Azza wa Jalla may He grant us guidance. Hatta Islam has talked about how a man and a woman should behave so that we will not begin to what? Oppress one another. The man will not begin to oppress his wife, neither the wife be negligent of the duty of her duty to her husband. Islam has explained everyone's right that everyone is supposed to observe towards one another, so that when we observe all of these things, then the child that will come out of such relationship will be a child that has good moral, lofty moral, high morals. Islam has explained how we should treat, how we should train our children. He has explained what we should follow in order to bring about children. After you want to even meet with your wife, Islam has told us on how we should meet with our wife. Which other ways of life will tell you that when you want to meet with your wife, you should not jump on her. When you want to meet with your wife, you should recite a dua. Which other way of life will tell you that? Is there any other culture that can tell you how you should meet with your wife? No. But Islam has explained all of this in details. Islam has also talked about even the government, how it should be run. Islam has explained politics and governance, how the neighboring countries should behave to one another, and the fact that governance belongs to Allah Azza wa Jalla. Allah Azza wa Jalla is the only one who has the right to legislation, and He is the one who has the sole right to tell the people His creation what they should do. Also, Islam has also warned against fanaticism, whereby you so cling, you abide God, you follow and cling to a particular group of people or a particular color. You say, as for this black color, we are black people, or we are white people. Islam frowned at that. Islam has frowned at racism as well, tribalism, especially you see in Nigeria. The reason why Nigeria cannot move forward is tribalism. Because my man is the one on top there, nobody should talk about him even if he is wrong. He must not be criticized because he is my person, and that is why we cannot move. It is only Islam that has break all of these shackles. But as for other culture, what do? They cling on to their own. They said, no, Hausa people said this is our own Hausa. Yoruba people said, no, our own, this is Yoruba. The Igbo people, they said, this is our own too. Then when you go to our own state, the Igala people, they said, no, this is Igala. Ibira people said, this is Ibira. Then the Ofu, they have all and separate the society except Islam. The basis of Islam is taqwa. Allah only distinguish between his servant based on taqwa. Allah said, inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. He said, the most honored of you are those who have taqwa, who have fear of Allah. So even if somebody from your own tribe is said that he's not a Muslim, and somebody from other tribe is a Muslim, a Muwahid, then he is more closer to you. He should be closer to you than the one who is even speaking the same language, because that is not what matters. What matters is taqwa. That is why the Prophet said, Da'uha fa'innaha muntinatu. He said, leave tribalism, because it stinks. It stinks. It's smelly. You see, when somebody who is engulfed with tribalism, when you see him, he cannot progress, because he only thinks that all goodness lies in his own people. There is no goodness in any other tribe except his own tribe. We ask Allah to free us from such kind of thing. Lastly, Islam alone is the one that is suitable to regulate relationship between individuals. Islam will tell you how me and you should relate with one another. Islam will tell you how we should relate with even the government. Islam will tell you how the government of a particular place should also relate with government of another place. Islam will tell you how the country of a place should relate with country of another place. There is no culture that can tell you in detail how all this should be done except Islam. And any other way that men now set up for themselves, apart from this way of Islam, it will not be accepted by Allah. Allah said, وَمَنْ يَبْتَغِ غَيْرَ الْإِسْلَامَ دِينًا فَلَنْ يُقْبَلَ مِنْهُ. Whoever seeks other than the religion of Islam he said it will not be accepted from him. And in the day of Qiyamah, he will be among the losers. Allah Azza wa Jalla, he has already completed this deed. Our deen is our culture, is our way of life. He has already perfected it. You don't need any other way. You don't need to look back to any other way of life aside Islam. He has already completed the message. He has already sent the last prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. When Allah said, "Al-yawma akmaltu lakum dinakum wa atmamtu alaykum ni'mati wa raditu lakum al-islam dinan." May Allah Azza wa Jalla, may He satisfy us with Islam. May Allah Azza wa Jalla, may He teach us the culture of Islam so that we will live our life based on Islam. And may we never turn our face towards other way of life that is alien to Islam. Any other culture, however multitude of people that are following it, if it is against the culture of Islam, dump that culture to the dustbin and follow that of Islam. Because even the Arabs, they have their own culture before Islam. It is at the advent of Islam they drop their culture and they now embrace that of Islam. So I call all the Muslims, let's drop all these cultures that are eating deep into our society, and let's embrace Islam. For all of us, we are Muslims, and we take Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as our role model. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha